Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, October 8, 2020. My name is Karen Bodenschatz, and I serve as Associate Pastor at First Lutheran Church in Onalaska, Wisconsin, and this is our morning musing. On Tuesday, I shared the story of the ELCA's first African American pastor and congregation. If you haven't listened to that musing, you might want to now before you listen to this one. And I've also linked the full bio I referred to in the description below. The reason I shared the story of Jehu Jones with you is because in recent weeks, there has been a call from part of the African American community in our church for reparations in the name of Jehu Jones and those that followed him. The ELCA in recent years has been really open about their complicity in building and maintaining structures of racism in this country and have taken steps in writing and in speaking to move toward being more anti-racist. But now we as the church are being called to action. I will admit, dear friends, that I know very little about reparations. While I agree in theory, the actual implementation of large-scale reparations is something that I have not been able to wrap my head around, and so I haven't done the reading needed to understand how it would work. So when I read the first 4 parts of the blog posts calling the ELCA into account for their past actions and demanding new action, I got kind of defensive. And what I realize now is that it hit too close to home for me, and I took the accusations and the demands too personally. And so it became hard for me to hear the voices that were calling for justice. This is why having accountability partners is so important, friends. To have other white people that'll help you work through things when your fragility and your hurt feelings get in the way of what is really important. They also help you remember that this is not all about you. In fact, very little of it is about you. Because here's the thing. Our church, as proud as they perhaps were to ordain a black man in the 1860s, they intended for him to leave the country to be a missionary in Liberia. And then he ran into issues with that because of an arcane law that we now condemn, and he found little help to do the work he was ordained into. And while the church was able to pivot and we're feeling pretty good about having the first African American church not too long after that, when that church and that pastor needed help, when that pastor over and over and over again asked for help from the largest church, none was to be found. In fact, the larger church worked against that church and Jehu Jones. It is not a proud moment in our history. So there is a group saying there is a way that we, white people, can begin to make our treatment of black leaders right. So why would we not want to be a part of that? We've already said that we want to work to be a more anti-racist church. But reparations? That seems so big and scary, and it means money. And we as human beings can be as stingy with our money as I know we can be as generous with our money. But change will not happen, dear ones, if we do not put our money where our mouth and our heart is. Here's what they're asking for. And friends, it makes complete sense and is so doable. We as a church are being asked to create an endowment fund in the name of Jehu Jones that supports black leaders, especially black retired leaders right now who are finding themselves unable to make ends meet for all the systemic reasons black people find themselves struggling. Friends, if we all gave $128 to get this endowment started, it would be one step closer to the church and the world that we profess to be working toward as followers of Jesus. And I may not fully understand reparations, and I may have to continue to keep working on listening and seeking understanding, because Lord knows there's so much to learn. But this seems like a simple and easy task. And even if it wasn't, isn't it time things aren't so easy for us white folk? I think so. If you are interested in supporting this endowment, I will try to figure out how to get a link to the GoFundMe page in the description, or you can comment below and I can send out an email to all of those who are interested, or send me an email. Until then, be well, be kind, for Christ is with you.